Yes, you did. Made it weird.
What's happening, weirdos? This is my conversation with the incredible Michael Showalter. I have been a fan of Mike's for a very, very long time, from The State, obviously, from Stella, from his comedy work, also his work as a director. One of my favorite films of this past year, The Eyes of Tammy Faye Baker. Incredible, incredible movie. He's done so many movies that I am such a huge fan of. I was very, very excited to sit here on the sleepover couch with him, and I want to get to it as soon as possible. Katie, it's July 12th? July 12th. I do a live stand-up show at Largo here in Los Angeles. So whenever you watch this, just go to largo-la.com and you'll find Pete Holmes Living at Largo. That is always the highlight of my month. It's my favorite place to do stand-up. We've been having Amy Schumer did it recently, Dimitri Martin, Judd Apatow, Zach Galifianakis, Adam Sandler has come by the show. But regardless of who comes by as a special guest, I'm always there. I do about 45 minutes, new material, old material, mixing it up. It's always, always, always super, super fun. So hope you can be there. Largo-la.com. The next one is July 12th. And if you like the show, why not try a Pete's Pick? This episode is brought to us by our friends at Apollo Neuro. This is my Apollo Neuro. I'm wearing it right now. I'm constantly wearing it. It is a piece of wearable technology that helps your body recover from stress. It's basically a wearable hug that sends these almost like sub-perceptual vibrations directly into your nervous system. And before you tune out, this is not like a mood ring. This is not a crystal. It's not woo-woo. It's made by a board-certified psychiatrist and a neurologist. They developed this to speak to the body in the language that the body understands to help it calm down. The way I explain it to people when I meet them in real life, because people are always asking me what it is, that I go, like, if I go like this to you and establish a rhythm, if I'm patting you on the arm, and then I slow it down, you're just going to calm down. And that's basically what it does. It helps you energize up, like it does the opposite, and gets your heart moving, gets your blood flowing. It has so many incredible settings. It's like a wearable hug, worn on your wrist or your ankle. It delivers soothing, gentle vibrations that train your nervous system to recover and rebalance after stress. Like I said, there's energy and wake up, which I use before I work out. Social and open, which is a wonderful setting for parties, which usually freak me out. It's nice to have my Apollo on, easing me into the situation. Clear and focus is what I have it on when I'm doing this podcast. It's helped people get off ADD medication and really help them dial into what they're doing. Meditation and mindfulness, relax and unwind. And this is my favorite, sleep and renew. I put it on when I'm falling asleep. And if Leela wakes up in the middle of the night and I have to get up, and I come back to bed, I just push these two buttons, it reruns that program and gently lulls me back to sleep. If it did only one of these things, help you meditate, help you fall asleep, help you focus, help you ease into a social situation, I would be shouting about it from the rooftops, but it does all of them. It actually trains your nervous system to cope with stress better over time. The more you use it, the better it works. As I said, it was developed by a neuroscientist and a board-certified psychiatrist who've been studying the impacts of chronic stress for nearly 15 years, and Apollo's effects on stress, sleep, cognitive performance, and recovery have been proven in multiple clinical trials and real-world studies. I get more feedback about weirdos trying the Apollo Neuro than any other Pete's Pick, which is so fun that people are finding it and it's making their lives better. So show your support of the show. You can get 10% off by going to apolloneuro.com/weird. That's APONEURO.com/weird for 10% off and show your support of the show. All right, everybody. Hope to see you at Largo this month. In the meantime, enjoy my chat with the incredible Michael Showalter. Get into it. Hello. You know,
how's this? Can I do this?
God.
Can I do this?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Wait, we're not being filmed, are we? We are, aren't we?
We are. The first thing, if that's okay, the first thing I say to guests is
get comfortable.
Go ahead and cross your feet on the couch. Like put your shoes on the couch.
I wouldn't do that.
You can, or you can.
I'm
you can
sure
kick them off.
I just don't want to.
Okay.
It's not because because it's just wouldn't be comfortable for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But
well, here, take this second pillow.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And there's actually more pillows behind you. Here's another one.
Does this air?
We just started doing it on the YouTubes because guess what?
You get a lot of views that way.
That's how people consume podcasts now. The Showalter, way ahead of its time.
Interesting. So they go so it's back it's like back to that. No, but it used to be that in the beginning.
It was that. Then it went to
when
like
it was
radio.
when it was like Adam Carolla and like Joe Rogan. So, but it's like become popularized now that you do both, right?
Yeah, I resisted for a long time, but I'm happy to say it's not.
Yeah.
I thought it would change it. We've been doing a bunch of episodes and it feels completely the same.
Sure.
In fact, it feels better because frankly, like sometimes you go like, you make like a face or something. And like now you know, you don't have to go like, I'm making a face. You know, like you don't have to explain it.
Yeah. Or it's like what you can't see right now is that this person is making a very funny face. Like you have to explain.
There have been many times where I've said, I wish this was a video podcast, but I worried that it would ruin the intimacy because I want it to feel just like a chat, not like press or whatever.
Sure.
And so far it hasn't been a problem.
No, I remember many years ago going on Tom Green, who was literally like the first person to do the like DIY.
Oh yeah, in his basement.
It was in his house in the Hollywood Hills.
It had a basement feel. I won't be wrong. It had a basement feel.
And oh man, that was one of the worst experiences of my whole life.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah.
Tell me every single detail.
Well, they blindfolded me. First of all, they met me I was in LA for just like auditioning for pilots or something. I mean, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they blindfolded me. I was met at my hotel or somewhere down in Hollywood or wherever I was staying. And his like underlings met me and blindfolded me because I couldn't know where he lived.
As a bit?
Not as a bit.
As a bit?
Not as a bit.
Again, I say?
It was a very like it was very like he was Colonel Kurtz and this was Apocalypse Now and I was being taken to the king or whatever.
Freddie got fingered.
Yeah, Freddie got fingered. Yeah.
That is
So I was blindfolded and driven to his house in the hills. Not joking.
not a bit.
Not even remotely a bit. And it was like, I'm sorry, we have to do this. It was very much like, sorry, I know this is weird.
But even that could have been a bit.
swear
Like, you know
to
bit.
God,
You know bit.
I swear to God, it was not a bit.
Like, you were thinking at the beginning.
No, I was thinking.
Maybe a bit.
Nope. I was thinking, this is weird. I feel weird. I don't think I want to do this. The whole thing was weird. I was afraid of Tom Green. Because at this time, he was in this kind of, and I'll tell a little bit more of the story. He was in his like very unpredictable phase.
Yes.
Like
the bit is I might slap you or bite you.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
The joke is that I had diarrhea on your seat.
Yeah.
And then the big punchline
yes, it was
is
very
you being
like Gonzo. It was very Gonzo, and I didn't like that.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm not a prank person. Even Hunter S. Thompson, I'm kind of like, take it easy.
100%.
Right?
100%. Just be a normal person. Just be a normal person.
When people are like, hey, go out and shoot his TV, I'm like, I'm his neighbor being like,
don't do that.
It scared us.
Yes.
It scared us so bad.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Be a normal person. We're going for a society here.
Yes. Well,
it's not that, barely, but it's not that hard. The whole point of a society is it's sort of hard to stay in the society, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Like people that say I have no filter. It's like, you should have a filter.
You should have a filter.
We all build filters.
Yes.
To not humiliate, embarrass, offend other living, loving people.
Yes.
Be like,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. Oh, so you got stupid shoes. Sorry, I have no filter. Build one. You fucking idiot. Build a filter. You think I was born with a filter? Oh, sorry, I'm a child. Great. Grow up.
So I agree. First of all, I totally agree. So I go to this place. My blindfold is taken off. Of course, I don't know where I am. I know I'm up in the hills somewhere.
Yeah. No landmarks?
None that I would recognize.
What if you're like, I take it off, I'm right by the arc light.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I'm next to Pink's.
See, that's a bit.
He lives next to Pink's, that hot dog stand on
That would
Fairfax,
make it a bit if I blindfolded you and took you to Pink's.
Yes.
And you were like, this is a landmark.
It's Pink's. There's only one of it. So it's called Pink's, right? That hot dog stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Melrose, I believe.
So, because there also was like Pink Dot. Is that a thing
Pink
too?
Dot is a grocery
Pink
store
Dot is a
that'll bring
grocery
you
store.
cigarettes and pornography.
And licorice. And
it's presumably where Phil Hoffman is calling in Magnolia. He's calling a Pink Dot.
Yeah. I remember Pink Dot. I mean, I remember, it's like there's one on Sunset.
Yeah, sure.
So, and then he interviewed me, but he was definitely, there was a whole thing going on. There was like, he has this whole entourage of young men that were like very, he has a real, this may have been as many as 20 years ago. And he had a huge, but I remember that it was the first like DIY interview show made in his basement, with like where all the cameras were like that, like video, but he had 10 guys working for him, and it had a very weird vibe, very aggro macho male, like a very aggro male vibe.
Well, there's a paradox to T Green, which is that he's like, I'm a skinny dork, but as soon as his number came in, he was like, fuck you, and it's sort of not necessarily fuck you, but aggro.
Frat boyish.
Fratty.
It was fratty.
Yeah, Freddie got fratty.
Freddie got fratty. Freddie got fratty. So he interviews me. He has no clue who I am. Literally.
Zero re.
I mean, barely.
Yeah.
I'm just the guy that's one of his lovely underlings. The guy that was apologizing to me about the blindfold was very nice.
Yeah.
And was a fan.
Yeah.
And it was like...
They often are, the people with the blindfold.
Yeah.
That work for the
It
overlord.
was the apologizing blindfolder was like, I'm really sorry, but like, I loved Wet Hot or something, And it was like, hey, Tom, you should have Michael Showalter from Wet Hot on your show. Who's that? I don't know, but he's great. Okay, fine, bring him on. Like, he didn't know who I was.
There's also a level of hubris to that. Like Drunk with Power, Prime Green. By the way, T Green is sat right where you are, so we're not shitting on.
Is he humble now?
He was actually incredibly sweet. I was nervous to have him on. He was incredibly sweet and almost, I don't want to say, to be funny, I'll say off-puttingly, but not really.
Funny.
Earnest.
Oh, earnest, yeah.
He was very, very earnest.
Yeah.
I remember asking him about Big Brother, and he was talking about it
did he
very seriously.
Does he say I was crazy? And
I think so.
Does he have any like self-awareness about any of that stuff?
I think he seems to have calmed, and he refers to that as a different time in his life for sure. But anyway, the Minion books you. This is the Drunk on Power. Like, I can talk to anybody. Like, if all goes well, I'll just dry heave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's flying too close to the sun.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, you as someone who's sort of knows what it's like to be on his side of that microphone of the interview show and stuff like that.
Yes.
So maybe you know what his psychology is in a way that I was just terrified.
Well, you were interviewing. What year is this?
Was just Showalter?
No. Tom Green when you did his.
That would have been. This literally was like early 2000s.
Yeah, this is Prime Green.
But this is post MTV and post Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
So he actually had sort of already like his like movie career was over already.
Yeah.
So he was like an underground.
Yeah. He was an Andre the Giant Obey sticker.
Yes, in human form, in tall Canadian bearded human form.
Yeah,
but so he was more like he was still a rock star.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a mainstream celebrity at that point. He was sort of he had this underground thing that he was doing, and it was getting a lot of attention, mostly because it was like, oh, you can do your own thing online and it can be successful.
At a time when that was absurd.
Yes, and that is what was really sort of notable about him at that time, was that he was self-producing his own talk show and it was making money.
It made money?
It seemed to be.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know how, but it was monetized in some way and he was succeeding.
Which, by the way, is what everyone has figured out. Like, there's this weird we've been doing the show for 10 years, so we not to toot virtue signal, I'm just saying we got into it when it was like just a thing you could do to help with tour tickets, you know, like get more. You didn't even call it content back then.
Yeah, well, but
just like
there's
a thing
always
you
could get a little bit of money because they would put like ads for snacks.com or something
snack ads.
Can I see what I look like?
Yeah.
Is
you
that
want to see your
possible?
framing?
I want to just see how awful I look because I think I look better than I do.
Can we keep this in?
In general,
this is funny.
You better play it back, though.
Just flip the viewfinder around.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Oh God, that is what I look like, isn't it?
You have to leave this in.
All right.
Showalter Sato to himself. That is what I look like, isn't it? I mean, that's life.
So, all right,
We
we'll
can
just
get
leave
you
it in.
more pillows.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. It is what it is.
This for real.
No, I'm fine. I'm comfortable.
No.
I am. I swear. I really am.
I believe you would
It's
tell
not
me.
about comfort. It's about vanity.
Yeah, I know, but for vanity.
But I don't know what I look. It won't matter because I still can't see what I look like.
Do you want me to leave it out?
Well, here.
Here, hold on.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
Okay, this is good.
That's
fine.
better.
This is fine. Okay.
This
So-
is the show, man. This is it's supposed to feel like not by design. It just ended up feeling like a sleepover.
I like that.
two bros in a
I like
basement.
that.
Like
Yeah,
it's not supposed
yeah.
to be slick.
Yeah, we need some like sugared cereal or something.
Sugared
like that.
cereal that we dry
Yeah,
with
yeah.
hand, in
Yes,
parentheses,
yes,
with
yes.
hand. Mike, I was writing this morning, so I'm all in final draft. Michael eats sugared cereal, parentheses, with hand.
Or like Michael eats sugared cereal, comma, and we caps cut to ...
Yes. Oh, I love
That's
it.
my
Dot,
big
dot,
thing.
dot. As we, dot, dot,
I'm a
dot.
big as we cut to.
I do just as we. And
Oh,
then,
as
then
we,
cut
that's
to.
good. That's
as
good.
we,
That's
dot,
good.
dot, dot,
And then
cut
just
to.
or just you go to the next thing.
I like
pudding cut to.
I like getting rid of as many cut tos as I
So
can.
that's what I'm saying.
I use cut tos only when it's like it's a
whole new
point.
thing, a
it's
whole
like,
new thing,
Yeah,
a whole new thing.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt the scene
Our
with a
big
bunch of
joke
cut
is
tos.
like, as we, and then it's like, you go over there, it's Open Apple 6, so you're all the way to the right of this page, like, motherfucking smash cut too.
There you
the
go.
big joke is you smash cut, but it's not just smash cut. It's like you fucking smash cut. It's like it's an extra bajillion smash cut. But it's
Can
not.
I
would
just
never use
take
smash
a
cut.
moment to love, for real, Open Apple 6 reference. There was Open Apple and Close Apple.
Open Apple 6 will take you over to cut to.
For sure, but now Open Apple is Control, I believe.
Oh, I'm calling. Okay, I think
You're
it's
on a 2GS over
well,
there.
it's always been. I'm going old school and calling it Open
That's
Apple.
what I mean. And
the
it just
Open
bears
Apple, no, but
attention
the
must
Open,
be
the Open
paid.
Apple is that weird thing, that weird square thing with the circles on it.
The square thing. With the
I think
circles?
it's Control.
It's Control. Yeah,
Is also that little symbol.
it's either Control or Command.
No, that symbol.
She's looking at the keyboard.
That little symbol is also sometimes called Open Apple.
Well, I know because it used to have an Open Apple.
Oh,
in
did it?
It had.
Because I've always just that little symbol. See that thing on
Yeah.
command, that little symbol? I just call that Open Apple.
Well,
You're saying there actually used to be some
on
apple
a 2E, 2GS, all the early
okay.
apples.
So I don't know this
There was
stuff.
the outline of an apple that was Open Apple, and then there was a filled-in apple that was Closed Apple.
Okay.
And we have just dorked out in a heart. Like I love it.
I
though.
didn't even know that.
Takes me right back to computer
I've
camp.
always just been that symbol means
You
Open
thought
Apple.
the
Yeah.
sort of like it almost looks like a Celtic infinity symbol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
So to make a long story short, he has no clue who I am. He's being very like.
You're very good at this. You took us right back to the story.
Well, I'm like like when it's like I need to finish.
You have to.
He is no clue I am. He's being pretty condescending. I mean, I have no big issue with him at all, but he's being quite condescending. Like he really doesn't care that I'm there.
Yeah. Good
And
feeling.
I'm very intimidated and genuinely nervous and sort of feeling like like having a little bit of like I'm feeling quite triggered by the whole thing. It feels
As the recently blindfolded usually
it
feel.
feels very dangerous in a kind of like not like I'm going to get physically hurt, but that like this isn't a safe environment.
Yeah.
And then it was his birthday or something, and they had an adult film actress there as his present,
See?
as his gift.
I don't.
And she sat next to me and was being very flirtatious with Tom. Mm-hmm. And the energy in the room got so crazy, and I didn't know where I was because I had been blindfolded and taken there, and
So you don't know how to leave.
There were drugs being passed around, and about 20 guys, and me and Tom and this adult film actress.
This is everything I got into comedy to avoid this situation.
And I was like, and then they just went somewhere. Like with the cameras rolling.
That's a loaded went somewhere.
He was like, hey, let's go back into let me show you my office or something. And they like just disappeared.
Him and the adult porn person.
Yep. And then I was like sitting there like, what's going on? And then the sweet guy that put the blindfold on me is like, I'm sorry, I don't know. Like, I get it. He's like, I know, I feel bad. This is kind of weird. Like, this isn't what I told you this was going to be kind of thing. And I was like, can you just drive me home? And then he just drove me home.
Pardon the interruption, weirdos. Here's a word from our delightful sponsors. Lucy, the nicotine friend. It doesn't say to say that. Look, we're all adults here, and I know some of us choose to use nicotine to relax, focus, or just unwind after a long day. Lucy is a modern oral nicotine company that makes nicotine gum, lozenges, and pouches for adults who are looking for the best, most responsible way to consume their nicotine. It's a new year. Why not start it out by switching to a new nicotine product that you can feel good about? Me personally, I sometimes, when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm writing, I like to chew on a little nicotine, get it in my system. It is a nootropic. It helps my mood and it helps me dial into what I'm working on. I have chewed Lucy. I think the flavor is exceptional and that nicotine kick is dialed in just right. So if you enjoy using nicotine, you should definitely check out Lucy's products at lucy.co. That's lucy.co and use promo code WEIRD at checkout. Also, I have to read this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Remember, if you're interested in a better way to use nicotine, visit lucy.co and be sure to use that promo code WEIRD. This episode is also brought to us by our friends at Dadgrass. Dadgrass! Chill out all summer long with Dadgrass because it is way too nice outside to be couch locked. They'll mellow you out while keeping your head clear and ease away the stress of the day. Dadgrass is legal organic hemp that relaxes your body and mellows your mind. Dadgrass CBD products are made with 100% organic hemp that's easy to dose and the effects come on smooth. They offer a variety of products for their token smokable pre-rolled joints, as well as hemp flower and variety of CBD tincture drops. So enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over, and it ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. Go to dadgrass.com/weird to check out their products. They sent us some. I smoked one the other day. I was waiting for it to kick on in some crazy, insane way, but it wasn't. It was mellow. It was de-stressing. It put me in my body. It helped me relax. It was a nice and beautiful way to end the day. And it wasn't like the products, so many, weed things out there. This isn't weed. You smoke and they send you into outer space. This is the return of the casual smoke. Whether you're looking for a new buzz or a chill way to enjoy an old favorite, Dadgrass will leave you in a euphoric mood. Go to dadgrass.com/weird to check out their products. Dadgrass is offering our listeners right now 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/weird. Go to dadgrass.com/weird for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/weird. Dadgrass! You asked to go home.
Yeah, and then that was my Tom Green experience.
Look, you had a limit, and I like where your limit was. Maybe modern Showalter would have left earlier, but I'm glad, you know what I mean?
Oh, modern Showalter, the current, like modern day Showalter.
Tell me where modern Showalter would
Modern day Showalter would just not have gone on it. Yes. Modern day Showalter just would have not said
this is what to brag about. Like, if you want to get me excited, I don't care what car you drive. Tell me about your boundaries. Tell me about your self-respect.
Well, like one thing is like I figured out
modern day show.
I figured out through so much failing at it that I am not I may be a good-ish actor, but was never going to succeed as an actor.
Oh, interesting.
And just I've auditioned for 40 billion jillion things and never gotten. The only things I've ever gotten were things that I wrote. Like the only jobs I ever got were when I wrote it. Like with a very short, like so many, with very few exceptions. There's a few things I've done, but like I never once went into an audition and was like, I'm getting this part.
Y'all are about to see modern Showalter.
Yeah, like, but there's so many people that's who are successful at acting that's what they're thinking when they go into an audition. They're like, I'm gonna go crush this audition and get the part. I've watched them come in and do that. Like I've watched people come in and audition and crush it.
Yeah.
And they really believe like you should hire me. Like, and if you don't, it's your loss.
Right.
And I never felt that way.
Do you
For
like
me,
it?
it was like I was like, I can't get this over fast enough. And like I saw, whatever actor who has the same kind of hair as me in the waiting room. You should hire him. He's great. That's really how I felt.
I get that. I understand, and I feel the same way often. Sometimes I go in and I am the jerk guy that his coffee just kicked in, and like I'm like socializing in the waiting room and stuff. Like I can be that guy.
I do that.
Yeah,
I do that. I did that. I haven't auditioned in years.
Yeah,
but I do that too. But it's
I'm trying to get into some sort of flow. But yeah, go. You do that too.
But when you're I mean, I would imagine when you're on stage doing your material, doing stand up, or you're like you're fully in your skin.
Yeah,
I think that good actors, real legit actors, they're fully in their skin when they're acting.
yeah. I know exactly what you mean, and I still don't feel that way.
Yeah.
I completely get it.
Yeah.
Now that you're on the other side of the table and you're casting things, do you like when they come in and they're kind of like confident?
I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need any. Sorry.
No, I loved it.
Sorry, Pete.
No, I loved it. No, not me.
Oh, okay.
I can be that way sometimes, but I've cast things as well, and
I just want
noticed-
them to be great in their audition.
Right.
All I care about is what the audition looks. But I actually don't love watching auditions. To be honest,
Well, it's brutal. You're watching people's dreams.
Yes,
saying no to a lot of dreams.
and so it's like I even watch an audition.
Yeah.
Sort of like this, even when it's on my computer screen.
Right.
But
you want them to be good, though. You want.
I'm excited for them to be good. And if like there's the one thing I ever could have told myself in my 20s when I was auditioning a lot was like those people want you to be good. They're rooting for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not.
They're
like
rooting
this
for you.
Fucking person. They want you to be excellent.
Totally rooting for you,
Yeah,
and want you to have fun and want you to feel loose and don't feel the kind of power that you think that they feel or something.
They're feeling
like
insecure too.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to talk to you about that. I forget who said it, but the director is the best actor on set. Have you heard that?
No.
I like it because you're acting like everything's okay. Mm-hmm. That you're not running out of time and you are getting what you need and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So when you're directing something like The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which is one I told you when I ran into you the other day, I think one of the best movies, certainly of the year, but I'm like one of the best movies. Just I think it's fucking incredible.
That's so nice.
I really mean it. And when you were doing it, I'd love to hear a little bit more of that nuance. You're not like, and action with a cigar. You're probably going like, God, I hope you're probably, tell me what you're doing. Looking at the script, cutting lines, wondering if it's right, wondering if you should nudge or what. Tell me what it's like.
Well, you mean like, so there's so many different phases to it because there's the months leading up to when you're shooting where you're, actors, Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield, who are the leads in that movie.
Who?
Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield. Jessica Chastain won an Oscar for her role, which you didn't even know.
I didn't know
which
that.
When I saw you, you were like, have they had that yet? Has that happened? I was like, ha, 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 he's joking. Like, because I was like, remember when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock and it was all anyone talked about? And you were like, what were you like, oh, yeah?
Yeah. No,
Sorry,
at that point.
This is like really for both.
Is it Will Smith?
No. It's my wife.
Can I get it? That's not like a weird, I'm having sex with your wife joke. That was just like, what if I got it?
She would be very like...
Your face was like, no one thought it was a I'm having sex with your wife joke until you said it. That's what I saw your face just
you're
do.
Right.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I saw you do it, and then I regretted it, but here we are.
No, I don't think you should regret it. I liked it.
Okay, I appreciate it. I feel
This is a safe space.
That's what I'm trying to say. Maya Rudolph did it 2 days ago. We said jizz like 75 times. And for some reason, I was just so proud.
Jizz is a
and
funny
happy.
word. Jizz is a funny word.
I completely agree. I'm trying to get it started like this. Ready? Tell me those are new shoes.
These are new shoes.
Jizz. I just think that's how we should be saying it.
And that means like they're awesome.
They're awesome.
Uh-huh.
Jizz.
Your shoes are jizz.
Jizz. Or just
jizz.
And she was also, Maya was wearing hoka or hookah.
Oh, yeah, hoka.
And she was like, once you're over a certain age, you only wear hokas. I'm sorry to out you.
They're jizz.
But
they
they're
are
jizz.
These hokas are...
You brought it back to
These
jizz.
hokas are mad jizz.
Those are mad jizz.
Yeah.
They're super jizz.
They're super jizz.
And when we sometimes get in the hot tub and go, FBJ, full body jizz. These are the only types of relationships I want to have.
FBJ.
Oh, that was an FBJ.
Not to be confused with PB&J.
Or a forlorn blowjob.
Or LBJ. Or forlorn blowjob, yes.
I got a blowjob, but they looked forlorn.
Forlorn, yeah. Poor, yeah.
Porlorn?
Forlorn, but I didn't want to.
Porlorn.
Porlorn.
The numbers in
blowjob.
SNL are down. Porlorn.
Porlorn.
Porlorn looks forlorn.
Did you ever work on SNL or write on SNL
Well,
or
to
act
your point,
or be a performer on that
I
show?
would go into 30 Rock, which is very intimidating. Do you
Yeah.
remember being a young person?
Yeah, auditioning auditioning
Yes.
for sitcoms on like some floor of there.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. Mhm, Back in the day.
It's like going into a pharaoh's mansion or something. It's golden and marble.
Oh,
and
which part? The whole thing?
just the lobby. I've never
interesting.
I've never really gone up. Later, I went up when I was not performing.
Just
but
as
I would
an
drop
audience
off a DVD
to go see well, you must have been on Fallon.
I did
the
Fallon.
talk shows.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did Fallon, and I've watched SNL. But you auditioned and wouldn't get it.
I never auditioned for SNL.
Really?
No, I never auditioned for SNL.
I think it's very interesting
the
that you don't
state-
think of yourself as an actor because that's I know you're.
I don't think of myself as an actor because I want. For what I said, which is I don't feel like an actor. I don't feel what I think an actor should feel like, which is in control and happy. You know,
Doing it.
Yeah.
Is that what you saw your leads in Tammy Faye doing
it's
it?
Breathing.
Yeah.
It's living.
Yeah.
To be when you're at that level, when you're a great actor, and you don't have to be that kind of actor. You could be a comic actor. You could be a soap opera actor. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's that feeling that like I'm me right now. When I'm directing, and this feels sort of like goofy to even say, but I feel that way. I feel like completely in my own skin. I feel very confident in. I don't feel the need to pose or posture or anything. I am more than happy to say if I don't know what something is. Could the AD or someone will say like, "Oh, we need a something or other." Thing, and I'm like, what's that? What are you talking about? You know, I don't need to know it all. But I do feel like there's something that I have to offer, and it's unique. And I never really felt that way as an actor. Yeah,
I love that. I'm just happy for you, just as a human person, because finding those spots where you're
huge.
fully yourself,
huge.
relationships
It's
where you're
huge.
fully yourself, jobs where you're fully yourself.
everything.
It's literally
authenticity.
everything. Yes, authenticity. And is that what Andrew and Jessica, you saw them? I have to imagine.
So they just they're different. Both of them have a different process. They're both very, very well researched. So they both do an incredible amount of reading and research, and they think a lot about their characters, and they talk to people that knew. They all that stuff. They treat it. They take it. They approach it with such professionalism and hard work. So I sort of see it as they're creating something. Mm-hmm. They're putting a character together piece by piece, the way a bird would build a nest or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm there to kind of help them in whatever way I can, but also to like get to kind of figure them out, get on their page. That's a lot of with me. What if I have a directing style or process? It's like to try to get on the actor's page, and every actor's different. So I may
meet them where they are.
Yeah, but so it'll be like I'm doing one thing with Jessica and doing a different thing with Andrew,
And what was that?
And a different thing with Vincent D'Onofrio.
Don't mention just the leads.
That's fun working with
Just the leads.
working with an actor. Like, oh, who are you working with? Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio. Oh, okay, sure, no big deal. They're all different. They all have different, and you're trying to get on their page, and figure out what that's going to be. And then,
can you remember the difference if Andrew is struggling?
Andrew is very. I don't want to say this and be wrong, but he's somewhat of a method actor. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of in character even when he's not on camera.
That must have been
or
fun.
Or he's sort of has his character with him in a way. So it's not like, I used to think method actor, you hear that, they're always in character. That literally, like, if you go up to them and ask them a question, they'll use the voice of the character to answer.
Or they'll be like, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
No, for the next shot.
What's a shot?
Is this
What's
the
a
Hallelujah
shot?
show? No, we're shooting a movie. A documentary?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't do this every time.
It's not that. It's more that they don't drop the character's feelings when they're not shooting. So if the character's angry, and if the character is angry or hurt in some way, or happy even, the actor, my sense of it is, and I didn't talk to him about this a lot, but my sense of it is he holds on to that.
Your spidey sense?
My spidey sense of it, because I didn't want to be like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you doing right now? What are you thinking? It was more just my vibe. Checking it out is he'll keep the feeling very alive. He'll keep that fire burning.
Yeah.
Whereas Jessica is more turning it on and off.
I see. Mm-hmm. Which is what I certainly do.
Yes. And so
before I do a scene, my co-stars on the thing I just did would laugh at me. They'd be like, all right, we're ready to go. And I would just say out loud, I'm angry. And then because I know it's stupid, but I even think Robert De Niro, well, that's more of a method guy, I guess. But like a lot of actors, even if they're not saying I'm angry, they are going like, remember, you're in a fight. You just left that fight.
Sure.
Or
you could
you're
keep
disappointed.
Notes. I mean, sometimes
in your script, it's
a lot of
good,
actors, they just keep a note, notes that say like, this is what my character's thinking in this scene.
Well, I wish I had done that because I was watching what we shot and I noticed, I was like, oh, I should have been keeping like you're more mad than you were in the last because you're shooting out of order and stuff.
Right.
It's like, this should be your 6th. Like, you're really pissed.
Yes.
But it was the first thing we shot, so I can tell I'm just kind of like happy to be on set.
Yes.
Like
that's what Sally Field did. I did a movie with Sally Field, and we shot it out of order. And it's called Hello, My Name is Doris. I hope everyone goes and checks it out. It's on Netflix right now. She made a whole...
I said edit that out. I just want you to be in on the joke. I didn't want you to think I was being a dick if you watch this later. Edit that out. I always do edit that out. Edit that out. Edit that out. No, it's a wonderful film. I didn't know it was on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
That's great.
It just came on Netflix.
Great.
Yeah, it just came on Netflix.
Great.
And
she would do a...
Did you say Netflix.com?
I did. Yeah.
She would do... she sort of made a chart. So she could look at her script at any moment and her chart could kind of tell her where her character needed to be.
I love that.
So that she could almost just like reference a piece of paper that could tell her where she needed to get to. So she had the whole performance kind of charted out on paper so that she could just reference the level.
And are you doing, because I've had directors that do that and don't do that. My favorite directors, really?
No.
It's really helpful.
I should.
You do whatever you do, but the ones that make it really easy, let's say, go like, hey, don't forget the scene before this.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I do that, but I don't have it. Okay. I do that, but I do that in the moment. So it's like I absolutely do that, but I don't have it all written down.
Yeah.
That's all I meant.
Okay, yeah.
I just don't have it all written down.
Well,
but I absolutely do that. Yes.
It was super helpful.
Don't edit that out. I do that. I do that. I swear to God, I do that.
I believe, of course.
But I'm in awe of I'm in awe of directors like Wes Anderson or the guy that did Bong Ho, I think his name is, who did Parasite. I'm in awe of directors who it appears to me are...
You could, if the camera was on me, you'd see my face. I was smiling and it started to fade, realizing I had made fun of a name. Yeah. I thought you were trying to think of the name of a movie.
No.
And then I was like, I teased the name.
You can edit that out. Maybe you do want to edit that out.
Well, I think it was because it was Ernest. I didn't know his name. So you just had like a real moment of me. Like, but if you go to me on my shot, you could
bong.
See me go.
You just heard
I heard bong, and I was
all
like,
you heard
bong
is
hits.
bong.
But
and
then
you
when you went bong
hit.
ho, the Academy Award winning director, and I was like I couldn't do it in a million years. It was like this, Mike. It was like this. I was like bong hits, and you went bong ho. And like that was too much. It was so subtle.
Your vertebrae started
fusing together. And I felt my eye move so subtle,
like that little flutter.
It was a flutter.
That little flutter in the corner of the eye.
It was
like if we could have done an extreme close up. If we could have gotten an extreme close-up, we'd have seen a little twitch happening.
And you would have been in Video Village going like, God damn it, we got it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
We got
That's
it.
beautiful.
Because what I felt,
we got that, right? We were recording, right?
This goes back to
Please tell me we were recording.
That's the sort of stuff that...
And I say circle that. Circle that,
yes.
Circle that take, yeah.
And those are the types of things that I can't yet will. I can't will something so small.
Well, or just be so... like, in it, that it comes out.
That you're not even thinking.
That you trust. You trust that whatever comes out of you is going to be that good.
Yeah. So Bong Ho,
and Wes Anderson and many others who I get the feeling that they plan their movies within an inch of their lives. That
I believe they do.
Their movies are like blueprinted.
Yes.
So to the letter with music and the shot and how that's all going to cut together. I'm in awe of that because to me, doing even the stuff I've done, it feels like just making anything is like so miraculous.
Forget making it perfectly or precisely.
Like, to make a movie like Eyes of Tammy Faye and the amount of like pieces that need to come together and the amount of like X factors that go into it, to say nothing of just like anything, like the script and the actors and the production, and you're trying to make your day and the budget, and there's so many different important people who are doing their jobs the best they can. And then to think like to be one guy getting 200 people to do it exactly the way you want it. And to even have a vision of exactly the way you want it, because that's the other part. It's like I'm shooting and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really sure how this is going to go. You know, like I'm just in Whole Foods getting attractive looking ingredients, and then we're gonna go cook it, but we don't know exactly how we're gonna cook it.
But that's how Jed is, and that's how Jed is. Paul Thomas Anderson is.
I didn't know that was how Paul Thomas Anderson was. It certainly
seems that way. I already told the story, but I was talking to him about the master. And Joaquin jerking on the beach, he masturbates on the beach. I was like, oh, and that mirrors when Phil Hoffman gets the hand out. And he said we were just shooting Joaquin. He was just doing whatever he wants. To which I said, I corrected him. I was like, but it's framed perfectly that you can't see his dick. How did you frame that? Like, how long was he jerking off? That you're like, a little bit. I'm seeing that he's just doing this, like a little bit. That makes
me really happy.
That's why I was happy to tell
Anderson, you. Because I'm so in awe of him, and he seems like it just seems so. Like I said, it's so hard to it's not hard in a way of like I want you to feel bad, sorry for me. Hard.
Yes.
It's just it's so many people involved.
Right.
There's so much going on to do it.
It's simultaneously a control freak's dream.
Yes.
Because you can be like, shave that mustache.
Or literally like there's 2 wicker baskets, which one do you want? And it's like I want that one. Or like neither. I need neither. Show me 4 more wicker baskets.
He said neither. And it's like buzzing.
I need to see 4 more wicker baskets by tomorrow.
Pardon the interruption, folks. This episode is brought to us by our friends at Lollipop. Lollipop is a new kind of healthier, wonderful, flavorful, fun, soda-like drink. I say soda-like because it's not fair to call it soda. Soda usually means it has 30 to 40 grams of sugar, and it is horrible for you. But Lollipop is a new kind of soda. It tastes just like the soda I grew up with, but unlike those that are full of sugar, corn syrup, and artificial ingredients like aspartame, Lollipop is made with natural ingredients that are actually good for you. It's the fastest growing functional beverage brand in America. They have amazing nostalgic flavors like vintage cola, classic root beer, which is my current favorite, incredibly smooth, wonderful, orange squeeze, cherry vanilla, strawberry vanilla, and their newest flavor, classic grape. These flavors take me right back to a pizza party when I'm 12 years old, but without the horrible sugar, without the tons and tons of sugar. They have about 2 to 5 grams of sugar from natural sources. That means no added sugar. For example, their vintage cola has just 2 grams of sugar. Compare that to Coca-Cola, which has 39. Whenever I read this, I can't believe it. 39 grams as opposed to 2 grams in an Lollipop. Their orange squeeze also has 5 grams. Compare that to orange Fanta, which has 44 grams of sugar. But for real, I'm not just saying this. We always have cases of this in the house. We give it to our guests. We drink it ourselves. Everybody talks about how amazing it tastes. I really don't know how they do it. It's non-GMO, vegan, paleo, and keto friendly with less than 8 grams of net carbs per can. They're so confident that you will love their product. They offer 100% money back guarantee for orders placed through their website. And I worked out a special deal for weirdos. Receive 20% off plus free shipping on your order. I recommend trying the variety pack. That way you get to try all of the delicious flavors. Go to drinkolipop.com/weird or use code WEIRD at checkout to claim this deal. That's drinkolipop.com/weird. Olipop can also be found in over 6,000 stores across the country, including Kroger, Whole Foods, Sprouts, and Wegmans. Thank you, Olipop, for showing your support of this podcast. Yeah.
Somebody told me that story on some show.
The best is when you have the prop person, the dear, lovely props people, and they're showing you 3 different backpacks, and it's like they're all North Face backpacks, and one's like green, and one's dark green, and one's dark blue.
One's JanSport.
And one's JanSport. In all seriousness, most of them are JanSport. I said North Face, but honestly, most of them are JanSport.
Yeah, you wanted JanSport.
I got the proportions wrong. 3 of them are JanSport. One of them is...
It's like an Arnold
and
Palmer.
One of them is, what's that thing?
JanSport is the iced tea.
Rookhaven. Like, then there's the really cool kind.
Herschel?
No, well, Herschel, yes.
Yeah,
Herschel's
Herschel.
amazing.
Which sounds like
but
a chocolate.
it's called like Farhaven or sort of... Or, yeah.
Katie knows. But this is... So it's a control freak stream, but it's also like you have to, at a certain point, surrender.
Well, and the
that
thing
you
of it,
can't control everything.
Yeah, well, and that's the beauty of it. It's very collaborative.
Yeah.
Now, the in the old days, for many, many, many billions of years, movies, there wasn't the whole auteur thing, and I'm not going to act like I know what I'm talking about because I really don't. I have some thoughts about it, but the studio director was one important person on the set of many important people on the set.
Mm-hmm. Meaning the director was called the studio director. He was there to represent.
Just that in the when back in the up until the 70s, really, the director was just an important person who was directing the movie, but there was. The writer was important. The production designer was important. The editor was very important. The producers were very important. The actors were everyone was very important. Mm-hmm. And they were all just churning out movies. Mm-hmm. And some of the movies were better than others, but it was a system. It was
And then Orson Welles shows up and it's like, oh, you can be a director of pictures.
Well, more like, and then Cimino and the 70s director. It was really the 70s directors that invent. I mean, yes, Orson Welles, sure. But it feels like the kind of current day idea of the auteur, which is really what we all are.
That's
everyone's
what we
very
mean.
infatuated with that. Yeah. Many directors are infatuated by the idea that being a director means being that control freak. That's what being a director is.
Right.
Is being that.
But
it's not.
Paul Thomas Anderson, I think, is more hosting a party,
which is great. I'm so happy to hear that again. Because,
he always says the work is in the writing.
Well, and Richard Linklater's like that. I've heard this about Richard Linklater, which
we're
is
actually shooting a Linklater movie. That's how casual he is right now. He doesn't even know, but he's just
filming
like, film this.
Yes.
Well, maybe
but it's
we'll
like,
use
but you just want everybody to to do their best work. You're just trying to get as many talented people together. And to somehow convince everybody and enable and empower everybody to do their very best work.
But isn't there? Sorry.
And then there's some people who think it's their job is to micromanage everybody and that it's all on them, and that literally in the editing room I'm gonna like hold the knobs. I'm gonna put my hand on the editor's hand and turn the knobs for him. Like
Right.
that. I'm not saying that that's what Wes Anderson does, even remotely. But I do think a little bit of a misunderstanding about what the role of the director is. It's collaboration. There's 50 zillion people involved.
Yeah.
You're just one person.
Right. You can be the host of the party. And at a certain point,
you're setting a tone.
You're setting a tone.
You're setting a good vibe.
And isn't the movie, well, you tell me what you think. I've always thought of it like it's a dream. And at a certain point, like you're going to, let's put it this way. If I read 50 books about Nietzsche and then I do stand-up, then I just write stand-up, but I'm not even thinking about Nietzsche. Some of that is just going to be in there. Like my unconscious is going to put it in there. Similarly, I think Paul Thomas Anderson and the like know their themes.
Is that what this whole thing, you talking about Paul Thomas Anderson?
Do you mind? Maya didn't mind.
Well, let's get Michael Showalter on the show and let's just talk the whole time about how amazing Paul Thomas Anderson is.
You said you loved him. I'm trying to. I could have said Linklater.
No, go to Paul Thomas Anderson. Has Linklater done the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Would love it.
Okay.
I just think
I'm being completely joking.
Of course. I just know that there's
the
like
dream.
a moment where Freddie Quell is trying to steal something from the rich woman's house, and it's a woman. It's a marble woman. He tries to put it in his pocket. It doesn't fit. And all us film geeks go like, isn't that perfect? Freddie can't find love. He literally can't fit a woman into his life. Like she won't fit in the pocket. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if you ask Paul Thomas Anderson, did you ask props for a woman slightly too big to fit in his pocket, he'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I really feel that.
Yes.
Do you relate? Are you just like, let's just make sure we're pointed in the right direction?
100%.
Tell me about it.
100%. I just want to tell the story. I literally am just interested in telling the story and having it feel a certain way and achieve a certain sort of level of feeling real or something like that. Like what I'm going for in the moment is literally just something that feels real. And by real, I don't mean actually real. I just mean like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
You know, that there's nothing there's no artifice here, that it just felt like it was multidimensional. Like I'm very much just trying to achieve just some kind of like physical sense of like, that felt good. Let's move on.
I see. Like a music.
Yeah, music.
There's a musicality.
Yes, or
to it.
improv.
It's funny.
Or improvisation. Like I'm and when you say a dream, that actually is a lot of times what it feels like for me, which is we're in a bubble. It's a safe bubble. The way we are, we're riffing. We're kind of in it. We're.
This is a tone.
Our brain is kind of like operating on a different level right now, where we're just kind of in this bubble.
Yes.
So I try to keep everything in the bubble. We're in the bubble. We're playing. We're
safe.
We're safe. We're emotional. We're
open.
We're very
raw.
open. We're open. We're raw. This is important. Mm-hmm. This has value. Mm-hmm.
In and of itself,
nothing's off limits.
Yes, take a chance, take a risk.
Your feelings matter.
I'll support you.
Your opinion matters.
Yes, and if you make a joke and I say bong hit, you will join me in whatever soup I'm standing in.
Yes.
You'll go, look, I see what happened.
Yes.
And now you're embarrassed.
Yes.
But that's what art is.
Yes. And so
so
you're a little buzzed. Everyone's got a little buzz going off of that.
Yeah.
And so inside that little buzz, we're safe and we're trying to make something great, because what the hell else are we doing here if we're not doing that?
I was just talking to somebody, though, my buddy, and we were saying how actually rare it is that people go, let's make something great.
Yeah.
It's actually that's one of the reasons I think it's
that's
been so fun watching what a great director you are.
But like that's what we were doing on Wet Hot. That's what we were doing. It's always like this is cool that we have this opportunity to do this.
Let's make something great.
Let's try to make something great.
Yeah.
Let's try to make it special. Let's try to make it count. I think it counts. I think it's special.
Yeah.
And so there's just that. It's love. It's love.
It's love. I also would add to that, I think it's owning. I'm all about in and of itself right now. So the shoot, the day, the scene, the page should be a reward of itself. Like in the 60s, we're figuring it out, man. Like we're doing a scene, but we're present and we're alive. And I'm helping you come alive. You're helping me come alive. The crew's coming alive.
What a gift.
What a gift.
We
But
get to
that's
do
life.
this we get to do this and let's make it count. Let's have fun.
But would you agree that the first step is saying, almost declaring, we're going to make something great, or acknowledging the opportunity, the potential of making something great? I think that's the first step to making something great.
Sure.
Some people are like, have you ever had someone say this? I think we could sell this. Like, that is just a boner killer, right? Like, Mike, I think nobody owns the rights to Goodnight Moon. Like, we're thinking, who plays the moon? We could get like a great moon.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I didn't say there's a part of me that, I know what you mean. You know what I'll say? I wish I could do that.
I bet we could sell Goodnight Moon.
I wish that I had the ability to, like, not need it. As crazy as this is going to sound, I really sometimes I love what I do. I don't want to be doing anything else. But there are sometimes I could look in my past and say, I wish I'd cared less. Almost.
It's really cool. I love what
so
you
that
just
I
said,
could just like make some money sometimes and like and not have it be so precious and
I've gotten that advice.
Like I can't do this, or like and I've gotten better. I've gotten way better at that. I've done plenty of things over the last 10 or 15 years where I did let go of that part of me that any little part of it that wasn't perfect and I could or whatever, that it's okay to do something for the money.
Right.
It's okay to like need to make money and do something that you don't think is perfect because as long as no one's getting hurt, as long as
basic
it's
moral.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
like as long as you can like go to sleep at night, go ahead, go make some money.
Well, you and I have I still have residual East Village street cred. You know what I'm saying? Like I have the belief.
Well, but you were the
darling. You can say darling.
Well, that for sure, but
kidding.
But you were but you were doing the E-Trade baby.
Yeah, that was later. And you know what, dude?
E-Trade
baby. Yeah, sorry.
Well, but that's a perfect example of like you must have done very nicely. You must have done very nicely as the E-Trade baby.
Yes,
and that's a great thing. You were like, having fun, and that was the kind of thing that I probably would have like.
Not gone out for?
I would have gone out for it, but I wouldn't have gotten it. I probably auditioned for it, actually. I probably even auditioned for it.
Almost everyone in New York did.
But anyway, what were you going to say?
This is very virtue signaling, but I think it's important. Kumail, our dear friend.
Yeah.
There was a time when, let's just put it like, I got E-Trade and it helped the community. Can I phrase it sort of vaguely like that?
What, in what way? Just like, we can get that kind of a job?
Spot. No, if somebody was in a tight spot. I don't want, but I'm saying that mattered to the whole community.
Interesting.
Kumail's very public about that. I
didn't know that.
He flapped, well, not enough, apparently. He didn't tell you.
No.
But there was a time when we were struggling artists.
For sure.
And if somebody was like, hey, can you loan me this or whatever, you'd go to the guy that just booked a commercial and the guy would be like, this is the best. Yes. Like, it was great. And Kumail, I hope, I'll make sure he doesn't mind me saying, but like, we get emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
Not just that he received, but that I was able to give. I get emotional because you had that opportunity.
And you were the cash cow.
I was the
at the Luna Lounge
baby.
You were the Luna Lounge cash cow.
I never did Luna Lounge.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that might have been a little before your day.
It was happening.
That was probably tiny bit before your day.
I wanted to do it.
Because now that I think about it, I bet Kumail didn't either. Because that would have been just right before your time.
Well, Kumail, we used to joke.
But you guys were, I'm sure, doing Invite Them Up.
We did invite them up.
Yes, yeah.
And Eugene, and I remember that's probably where I first saw you is you did videos. I'd never seen a comedy community like Rafifi where you made a video parodying Eugene's videos.
Oh, yes.
And it was you talking into a webcam.
Yes.
And I remember I got this really big laugh that in the middle of it, you took a huge drink of whiskey and everyone laughed, a certain kind of laugh you only laugh. It's almost like a church laugh or a summer camp laugh. Like he's making fun of one of the counselors. You know what I mean? Eugene probably is drinking while he's making those. And I was like, what is this? Every comedy club I had been in was like, you know, it was a different act every weekend. There was no community. It wasn't a place.
No,
And then I
wasn't
found
a
that
scene.
place. It wasn't a scene.
Yeah.
So we were a part of a scene.
Yeah.
And then that still carries over to me. If I get something that might not be cool, but it's for the money, I'm bringing this back to what you were saying.
Yeah.
I still have this mentality.
Let's still do it. Let's still make it great.
Let's still make it great. I love that. But I'm also like, maybe I shouldn't do this because I'm supposed to smoke cigarettes with Bobby in front of the Rafifi and be a cool guy.
Interesting.
And at a certain point, I had to be like,
But see, to me, then you get older and you start wanting stuff. Like then you get older and you start having
Health
kids.
insurance.
I have kids. I want to be able to afford for them to go to camp.
Well,
and like
when the multicam
and take classes and stuff
came through, I called Mark Duplass. And I was like, look, I love the script and I wanted to do it, but I literally didn't know how it would look. I was like, is it too mainstream? Like I was still going for I was going for Zach.
Yeah.
I did an HBO show. Now I should do like an indie movie or something.
Yeah.
This thing came through. I really liked it. I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
But for a moment there, East Village pops up and I called him and you know what Duplass said?
What did he say?
He goes, I said literally, I go, what are people going to think when they see my billboard of me and my family with a bowling ball? And he goes, Pete, everyone's going to think Pete's doing a show. Pete's got kids. That was like the first thing he said was Pete's got kids. But like there's a certain get over yourself.
Sure.
And that's what Flanny told me too. He was like, stop being so precious.
Well,
Just
when
go have
I moved
fun.
when I moved to LA, I stayed in New York. I feel like longer than anybody. Although I feel like you stayed there for a pretty long time too. Maybe
I left in 2010.
Okay, so I was there till 2014.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm older than you.
Yeah. You were back then too.
I was. I've always been older than you.
Dad joke.
I've
It's a
always
dad
been
joke.
older than you.
You always will be. 2014, you stayed long.
I moved out here to be a mid-level staff writer on the Rebel Wilson sitcom Super Fun Night.
Wait, on Warner Brothers?
Yeah.
That's when I was doing my talk show.
Yeah.
I was on stage 10 and you guys were on a different stage.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were on the
Yeah.
same stage
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yep.
Well,
And
that's
so
crazy.
I was
and that's
writing
an
on that
entry-level
show.
possession, but that's not mid-level.
Wait, my writing,
If you were a staff writer, that's entry level. If you were a story editor,
I was
that's
on the
mid-level.
staff.
Yeah, but okay. But were you called a staff writer? This just sounds like your agent didn't tell you that you were the lowest.
We were credited as like associate producer.
Oh, okay.
But I certainly wasn't senior.
Yes.
I was in the middle.
Okay.
There were
Mid-level.
like mid-level.
Yeah.
And I was, showed up on the first day, and the other writers were like, "Why are you here?
Really?
Why are you here? Like, what do you do? You're Michael Showalter. Why are you
That's
here?"
really funny.
And I was like, "Because I need a job.
And you're like, at least you're better than Tom Green.
Because I need a job, and I need a paycheck.
Yeah.
Because being recognized in Williamsburg by
Doesn't
cool
pay the
people doesn't pay the bills.
gets you a free,
having really cool people in Williamsburg think I'm really cool is great, but it doesn't help me put my kids in summer camp.
No, unless you can pay for their summer camp with
them
free
with them
glasses of
thinking-
Côte de Rhone.
Yeah.
Sorry, you had one. That was bad host. Bad host. Let the guest do the riff.
No.
I
want you to do the riff.
Yeah, but you had one. You
didn't.
went, and let's think pay, and I go, Côte de Rhone! Michael Côte de Rhone!
No, I said summer camp.
Oh.
I said summer camp.
Okay.
Enid's.
Enid's summer camp?
No, Enid's would have been the bar where they were buying me the Côte de Rhone.
Enid's. Yeah.
And
I remember Epstein Bar too.
Epstein.
And
sure.
remember Sugar? The late night diner?
Yes, ish.
It was near Sweet. I think
yeah.
that might have been how we met. You would be co-hosting Sweet or whatever that was called.
Sure.
Yeah, which was a big deal to the people
He's still doing
that were
that show.
I believe it.
He's still doing it.
To the people,
It's still. I actually went just a couple weeks ago. He's in a new venue in Chelsea, and it was packed.
really,
Packed.
I believe it.
Joe DeRosa was performing, and
Here's my Joe DeRosa. Ask me how the new Star Wars was.
how's the new Star Wars?
It was fine. That's Joe DeRosa. I feel like if you knew him,
He has a sandwich shop. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Joey Rose's Heart 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edit that out. We don't want to.
No plugs. All plugs are
You pay
edited
for
out.
your plugs.
You pay for the plugs.
You pay for your plugs. We're going
That's
to bleep the name
really
of the
funny.
movies you're promoting.
That's hilarious. I really, really appreciate that.
When I was directing, boo. Wow.
Do you ever do it?
No.
You should.
There's
It's
no
funny.
editing.
It's so funny.
See, to me, when I watch comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, I say with Jerry Seinfeld. The parts that I loved were when they were ordering coffee. So the part that I love is when you're.
I know, but
when
you
I'm
should do it
giving
just
as a bit.
for the inside, just for your fans as an inside joke. Like, and then I actually did it this time.
And then I
it's
actually
funny
did it.
It's funny.
I mean, that would require effort.
It
but
would
yes,
require effort.
We could do it. Poor Katie. I'm like, Katie, you want to do it?
She's like
No,
playing
no.
Candy Crush or something. She's
Actually,
not doing
Katie's a
Candy
great
Crush.
listener, and whenever I go, like, remember when we were talking about this? She goes, I know where that is, and she'll
Ooh,
lift
really?
something out.
Really?
Sometimes you have to lift something out,
Interesting.
like that, like the bong hit thing. That's gone. I'm just kidding. That was one of my favorite moments.
Did you give her the signal? Like, yeah, like.
Yeah. Can I go back to? We're going to get to you as a director, but this just came to mind. You
Okay.
as an actor.
Okay.
I feel like this is a good question.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you to feel seen, honestly. like I want you to feel known and like, I'm in a good little bubble.
Okay.
Was there a time when you really wanted to be an actor and wanted to be taken seriously as an actor? And the reason I'm asking is because you remember the sketch The Blueberry Guy.
Sure.
And when I watched the Blueberry sketch,
Johnson.
Blueberry Johnson
Yep.
is pitching a kid's show, and he looks like a blueberry played
Yep.
by you.
Yep.
And the executives are like, "We love it. We just don't want you.
You don't have enough
off."
experience. You don't have enough. You don't have enough. You don't have enough on-camera experience. And he says, like he says basically like I majored in like children's education in college. I am passionate about this. I work really hard, and to top it all off, I look like a fucking blueberry.
I look like a fucking blueberry. And then it ends where he's in the control booth going, "Cut to camera 1, push in and dissolve."
Yeah. Yes.
So there was part of me that when I didn't even rewatch that sketch. That's just up
That's
there.
so funny.
Was there a time when you felt like Blueberry, where you were like, "Why does everyone keep telling me to be behind the camera?"
No, because no one was telling me to be behind the camera either.
Well, you have an hour and a half, right? You got to be out of here at 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. At
Showalter, dead serious. Yeah.
I think 11:30, right?
you had said
Well, no, 10:30. 10:30. 10. No, 10. Yeah. Sorry.
I just
Sorry.
looked it up. That's why I was like,
I preach, I
Yeah.
preach.
I like. Did you draw that?
yeah, just get him away.
Nice.
You
No, but
know
did
what?
you draw that 60? That's cool. On your phone, that's cool. You like, because you could have just like
You get it.
done it digitally, but you took the
But if
time
she-
to actually draw it.
If she didn't say 60, I would be like, we usually get a 90 light. And this is when I go start talking about God. But we're at 60, but we're
Do you ever get the
we're doing
light
great.
and disregard? Like, do you ever see the light and you're just like,
Blow
fuck,
the light?
fuck that? Yeah. How
If-
often do you do stand up?
I try to do it, this is going to make you laugh, 3-4 times a month.
Why is that going to make me laugh?
Okay, I'm glad.
Well, what would make me laugh about that? That
Some
it's
of
a
my
lot or
stand-up
not a
friends
lot?
would say it's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
No,
I'm saying.
I'm offended.
I'm saying.
No, it's
No, I didn't.
No, that was a bit.
me thinking out loud. No, that was me going. Wait a second, Pete. I need to set the record straight here. I was finishing your sentence.
that they think it's not a lot.
That's what I was
I'm
doing.
just saying when we were starting, you had to do it every night.
I have no opinion of whether that's a lot or not a lot.
I'm now realizing that it was silly to think that you did.
I know.
I really am.
I
I'm
know
like,
that
why would my
I get that there are some people like the Comedy Cellar crowd that just need to go on stage every night.
the Cellar Boys
Yeah.
with a Z?
Yeah, that need to go on stage every night. Well, you made a whole television show about that.
That time in my life was when I was going up every night, sometimes more than once a night.
And are you doing new material every night? Are you just not even doing material? Are you literally just like talking? And
I'm going to bring it back to you because I love this generous question. I've been doing it for over 20 years now, so you can. My Val watches me do stand up, and she's like, "When did you write this?" And that's my favorite compliment.
Well, you're very good at you're sui generis. You know what that means? Sui generis.
Tell me.
I may not even myself know what sui generis means, but I think it means like self-generating. Like Robin Williams is the sort of ultimate example of someone who is sui generis,
salty sweet,
who just starts talking and
Yes.
20 minutes later he's still going and it's all hilarious.
Gift of gab.
You're a little bit like that.
What it is, and I think applies to what you do as well, and I appreciate what you said, and I heard it, and I accept it. I didn't want you to think I was doing that thing where I can't take a compliment. Okay, well, very good. I think you do that as well. I just want access to how I really feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's your job as an artist is we were looking at something and I thought it was the poster was overtly sexual, but like kind of unconsciously sexual. I started explaining to Val why I thought the poster was sort of subliminally sexual. And I was like, I've noticed something. I'm not as afraid of my shadow as I used to be. Like there might have been a time where I was like, because the poster I was like, doesn't it kind of look like they're an oral sex position? Like, doesn't it sort of look like that? And now I'm just like, I think they designed that to look that way. I could be wrong, but that's what it makes me think of. And I think I'm probably not the only one. I think that's our job as artists is to like fucking get over it. Like, you think you're not enough. You think if people knew who you were, they wouldn't love you. Mm-hmm. You're afraid of death. You're afraid of rejection. You're afraid of humiliation. Like, that's everybody. Yeah. And once you get comfortable, then you can generate. That's what Robin Williams was. Mm-hmm. He had been humbled by his sobriety, by all of these things. And it was really fun to watch him go, I can walk around the mansion of my house, all the doors are unlocked. And that's what makes somebody comfortable improvising or generating. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
This is fun, but generally speaking, I sort of don't want to hear my own voice.
I know what you mean.
But I mean, that's not to say other people shouldn't do it. It's great. I love actors. I don't love acting in the way that I think I once thought I would, because I don't give a shit about what I have to say as an actor.
Well, also, didn't you maybe, if you were like me, not know that there were other ways to create?
Completely.
Like, we kind of thought we had to be actors.
The only thing I could. It was the only thing I knew that I had a shot at, because you can't, like, you could go to college and be in an improv group.
Right.
Or you could go to college and be in a sketch group. You couldn't go to college and like write a movie, and it seemed unattainable and sort of like,
what's a joke?
Scary.
You're a little half-grown man, and you're like, I'm going to be the big shot. It's like, that's a ridiculous prospect.
100%.
But if you could be the actor who knew, but you
see the improv guys, and you're like, that's fucking great. That looks so fun. Yeah.
When I watch old state sketches and stuff, and I watch you and David specifically, I'm like, those are guys that are going to be directors. Like, that sounds like a burn. I feel there's more joy to be had in other ways. That sounds like I'm saying it comes off in the performance. No, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
I watch it,
I wouldn't mind.
Absolutely not. We both had unintentional
almost
burns.
Everyone in the state has directed.
Not Mike Black.
Mike Black directed a
Edit
movie.
that out.
Mike Black directed a feature.
Edit it out.
Mike Black edited a feature starring Isla Fisher and Jason Biggs called Wedding Days.
Was it good despite the direction?
Yes. Very much despite the direction. Or in spite of the direction. In spite of the direction.
You're the last member of the state to do the pod. Mike did it. And I was shocked. I think if you listen to it, he's like at a time in his life, maybe in between projects, and I was just talking about how great he was, and he was like, I just don't know what you're talking about. Like,
was he on Zoom, or was he with you?
It was on Zoom.
It was on Zoom.
But it was really beautiful.
Yeah, he's very self-deprecating.
Yes,
very self-deprecating.
But his persona is so like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
And then you talk to him, and he's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to work again.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was beautiful.
He's a very sweet man.
That's what I mean.
He's a very sweet and lovely person.
I completely agree. Let's talk, just because we are running out of time. Not really time.
And I feel like you asked me a question that we moved off of that was...
do you remember?
You asked me about Blueberry Johnson. And
did you feel that way?
Oh, did I feel... And I wanted to be a successful actor because it's what I felt like I wanted to be without having the feelings that I now believe you need to feel, which is like what I said, which is like, that I am my best self doing this.
Yeah.
And I never felt that way. I never one time felt that way. So my big aha moment was when I went and saw a play at the Lincoln Center, a Chekhov play. Not that that matters, but it was a Chekhov play. And I was joyfully watching it, and it occurred to me, like, I wonder if I should be thinking, I wish I was in this show, or I wish...
That's so good.
Or, like, thinking about the acting, and I wasn't. I was just enjoying it as an audience member, and somehow that really stuck to me as like, oh, you're not an actor.
I love that.
You're not supposed to be an actor. Like, if other actors would be watching this thinking about themselves... in some way.
That's one of my old bits. It's like an opener as I go, like, is anyone here thinking like maybe you'll get invited on stage? Because I've never been to a play without thinking like they're gonna pre-fame. I mean, Little Boy, like they're gonna ask me to get on stage.
Even a show that they don't do that on.
That's what I mean.
Because there's lots of shows where they never invite where you watch the whole show and they'll never invite anyone on
stage. Not like
it's
a bit we're going in the audience.
Because like the magicians always bring kids on stage.
I always tried to do that, and I got a big laugh once they gave me rings.
Oh, so you'd be like psyched to get on stage and then try to get laughs.
I did get laughs. I correct you. I did get laughs because he gave me 2 rings, and he said try and separate them, and he turned and he was talking to them.
How old are you?
I'm like 8, and he comes back and he goes, did you separate them? And I go, I did, but I put them back together. Big laugh.
Funny.
Big laugh.
Funny.
Big laugh.
Funny joke.
Yeah, this means a lot to me.
That's a really funny joke for an 8-year-old.
This means a lot to me.
That's for an 8-year-old. That's a funny joke.
That was good. I really appreciate it.
And did you just, is that just what came out of your mouth? Or did you actually plan it?
I think I thought of it a moment or two before he asked.
Because that's really funny.
I also, thank you. I deeply appreciate it.
That's genuinely funny.
I love this moment.
Unexpected.
Yes, from a child.
Yes.
Here's what I want to cover just before we're out of here.
Or anybody, really. That's like a really funny, like
it's a Zach joke.
Yeah.
It's like a Zach sort of like, I did, but I put them back together. Like you like throw away.
There was the go ahead.
I just wanted to talk about sobriety. The last time I saw you at Union Hall, you punched me. No, I'm just kidding. But I just remember you seemed
I puked on you.
You did a little bit.
Oh, what I seem so what?
No, I'm saying now.
Oh.
You seem like you've leveled the plane.
What happened at Union Hall?
I just remember, I think you had just gone through a breakup or something, and it wasn't even alcohol or drug related. I just remember.
I just was probably very unhappy.
That's what I mean.
I think I was, because I hadn't, that was like, I was sort of, because I wasn't a comedian.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I doing here?
We were sitting by the bocce courts. I was starstruck and enjoying it very much. And the reason I'm bringing that up is not to embarrass you at all. Now I see you, and you have a light. And I have to assume that you figured some things out, including sobriety, question mark?
Yeah, sure. I'm not, absolutely. I mean, I'm very, I don't have a big philosophy about this, but it's not like, I'm not super jonesing to talk about sobriety only because I will a little bit, only because I don't feel qualified to speak on it.
You don't want to be the spokesperson. Yeah. I understand.
But I definitely stopped a long time ago. It's been almost 20 years.
Love it.
Yep. And
I did want to, now I'm I don't want to ask the wrong question. Let's just say we can edit anything out. Did you decide?
I decided.
You decided.
There was no rehab. There was no intervention.
Yeah.
It was a
boozy booze.
Yeah. Boozy booze. And it was really just, but it was a spiritual bottom more than anything.
Tell me.
Yeah. It was just, oh God, it's too much. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time.
This should have been my first question.
We don't have time. And it again, in a way, it's the, a little bit for me, it's that 6 degrees of separation thing, which is the more I tell the story, the less meaning it has.
I didn't know that's what 6 degrees of separation.
Well, that's what it means to me.
I loved that. I know exactly what you mean.
I heard, and maybe I heard it wrong, but the idea of 6 degrees of separation is like every time a story gets retold or something along these lines. It's like slightly less. So it's like, it's my story.
Yeah.
It's nothing mind blowing. I promise you that.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing earth shattering or book worthy or anything like that. But it's my story, and in a sense, the more when I tell it, it takes something away.
It.
Yeah.
You've given me a great gift today.
Yeah.
Because I've actually had some spiritual experience, sometimes psychedelic experiences. I tell the story, and I'm like, I can feel it. It gets one click.
Right. Yes.
It starts becoming the story instead of what it was.
Exactly.
Oh
That's
my
it.
God. So I'm so glad I asked.
That's what you just said. That's exactly what it is. Because
Yeah.
I can't explain it to you in a way that will make it. It's like I'm trying to convince you. I'll get into this thing where I'm like trying to convince you of something.
You're persuading me.
Yeah.
And not telling the story.
Which as you know is it was so bad. I want you to here's how bad it was. I don't give a shit how bad it was.
Well, the beats. Well, I remember in church when people would share their testimonies, there were people that would love it. I used to hate it. They'd tell their stories and they'd be like, "It was a rainy night," and I'm just like, "Fuck
the
you!"
beats.
It becomes a monologue,
Yes.
like an audition.
I
Let's not
remember
do that.
when I was in high school, it was a very big honor to be. Are we done? Is it time? Am I getting the hook? It was.
We do have a
fun.
hook.
This is fun. You're good.
I appreciate it.
You create a very nice, a very
Thanks,
safe
man.
space. It's very
well,
good.
it takes two. It takes two.
I was in something called peer group, which was basically you got chosen to be a peer group leader, and then you would lead the freshmen in like after school things. You'd talk about drugs and sex and
Social issues.
adolescent stuff.
Yeah.
And to be a peer group leader was a big honor. And it really just meant you were popular.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the time, I wanted it really badly because it was like it was a bit of a popularity contest who got chosen to. It was nothing to do with that. Actually wanting to help kids.
That was orientation staff in college.
Yeah.
You're in the staff.
So where'd you go to college? Doesn't matter.
It's boring. I went to a Christian college called Gordon College.
I don't know it.
No one does.
Okay.
Not even the people that go there. I'm just kidding. They don't.
Gordon. See,
You just have to
the
say
words
it.
just come out.
Gordon. My joke is
My daughter does that. You'll say something and then she'll like be like you'll say a word or something and then she's like disappointed. Like I remember recently someone said disappointed and she's like disappointed.
I love that.
Yeah, she just repeats.
When
the word
I'm in the most like tuned in, like very present, people will be like, "I was aghast." I'll just be like, "Aghast," because it's this reminder. For me, it's playful. You're creating reality.
That's what it is.
And you're ingesting and making what
That's
they're
what it
saying
is.
part of you.
I have this thing, and I catch myself doing it all the time, which is I repeat everything twice.
Yeah, okay.
So
Tommy 2 times over
Tommy
here.
2 times. And that's what I'm always going. I'm like, I'm Tommy 2 times. I'll be like, someone will say, did that in directing situation, was that good? Did I do that the right way? I'll be like, it was perfect. It was perfect.
I love it.
And that's the least example of it. It would be like anything.
By the way,
when I say something, I have an opinion, I repeat it.
Yes. When I'm writing, I write like that. And sometimes the software will go, do you want to remove this repeated?
Well, because it kind of takes on new meaning every day.
I agree.
Repetition is the best. I love repetition.
I'm a big Mamet guy, and they'll put 5 fucks in there, and a great actor will play each fuck a different
100%.
way. And you're like, oh my God. It's like, I got the chills just thinking about it. So you were, in high school, you were one of these cool, popular people.
And there was a day where, like, in the first meeting, you sort of tell your story or something. Like, I don't know, like, you have... In peer group, you sort of do the session amongst the seniors during the day, and then after school, you have your freshmen, and then you lead them through the same conversation. So, fifth period was peer group with an adult teacher, and he would lead us, and everyone would go, and it was like, oh my God, so and so cried today in peer group, and all of a sudden, it's like you felt pressure to come up with something where you could cry.
You're bringing back a feeling of a time. That is the feeling of adolescence. It's like, Okay. For me,
Yeah.
How do I
cry.
cry?
Like, I need to tell a story. Like, I'm not cool. Now I'm not cool if I don't tell a story about something that happened to me that gets me to a cry place.
I am blown away with how well you heard me when sharing testimonies. I didn't have a good one. Mine was like, I was born a Christian. That was it. And this poor woman had like a conversion story.
Exactly.
I can't do it. I can't compete.
Exactly. 100%. Like, I feel like I'm less of a person because, like, I can't bring myself. I don't have the big thing. And what was the point of saying that? I don't know. We were talking about something that connected me to
sobriety and the story, and when you tell a story too many times.
Yes. And then it's like I told my story, and you're like, okay, that's a good story. And then suddenly I feel shitty about my story, and it's like, I don't need that.
Mulaney has a bit about it where he's like, when you're dating, you tell the story, you're like, we were 13, we were going through the reeds, and we found a body. We didn't know what it was at first. And then when you're 30, you're like, I found a dead body. like you just get tired of telling the same stories over and over.
Yes. You mean in dating?
In dating,
like I have to tell them
like your fifth
I
girlfriend.
have to catch them up to like,
I stayed in relationships too long because I was like, I don't want to have to do this again.
Oh yeah,
I have a brother. He's older. It's just
you
like
should just give them a 12-page
They need a previously
document.
Previously on Michael.
Yeah, here's all my stories. Here's all the important information. You can just
I really think there's a sketch here is previously on.
Yeah.
And you can skip it.
Yeah.
It's like skip recap, but then you don't have to do it. Well, here's our way into the last section, and we'll do it briefly. But when I saw you, I complimented you specifically on Tammy Faye, and I didn't know the Oscars had happened. And
so did you not know that Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock?
No, I did, but I wasn't watching them.
You didn't connect it.
And you know what else was true is I did check to see if Jessica won. And I was very happy that she did.
Before I saw you or after I saw you?
No, it was before I saw you. It was the day after the Oscars.
But then you forgot.
But I forgot, yeah.
You forgot.
I just...
that's fine.
Not to sound like a Johnny Cool Camel, but
I don't care.
I don't care about those things. But
you know what's interesting?
Like that she won.
You know what's interesting? Well, go ahead. Keep talking. I'm not going to...
Tell me what's interesting.
No. I want you to continue.
Well, I did compliment... Only because we're running out of time. I did compliment how you framed religion, spirituality. Mm-hmm. And I actually rewatched it last night, which was a pleasure. And that scene where she's going into the church, it's just so hard.
The first scene,
but also just throughout, her faith being a blend of kitschy kooky, but also earnest. Mm-hmm. And
very
you really
earnest.
thread that
She really
needle.
believes. She really has... That's the tragedy of hers, that she's a true believer.
I believe that, and I saw it. And I saw someone who was raised religious, whenever religion is portrayed, it's almost always like Kathy Bates believes in Jesus, so she's going to murder you or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's your insane...
Zealous. It's zealotry.
It's zealotry, or it's crest white, like Mean Girls. They're like, I'll pray for you. Yeah. And then they're like, fucking cunt. You know, like that. That's the joke, is like they're phony or they're zealots.
Yes.
Or you never see... Michael, we woke up, I always say this, but we woke up in a conundrum. You and I became conscious in a very confusing, we're out in outer space.
Yeah.
We're in these expiring meat suits, you know what I'm saying? And earnest, what is thisness is off the table because religion's been ruined by like homophobia
and I don't like that at all.
And xenophobia and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But like when you see a movie like you made, this is the good compliment, I hope you feel it, is like... Some people, actually all people are just doing their best. We're trying to figure out some framework for the universe.
Yep.
And it doesn't mean I'm homophobic, and it doesn't mean I think you're going to hell. It can mean I'm trying to have a relationship with the mystery, if that makes sense.
100%.
And when I told you that, I actually was very delighted, forgive my bias, but I do like when people like you are like, no, I'm interested in that stuff.
Very interested in
Tell
that
me
stuff.
everything.
No, and I mean, I was raised the opposite. I was raised very much in that mindset of religious people are unenlightened. Mm-hmm. The irony of that.
Opiate of the masses, sort of
yeah,
thing.
And that it's...
The irony of that is great.
Yeah, because it's...
Yes.
Yeah, that believing in God and all that stuff is dogmatic and bogus and all of that, and probably for good reason, because they were My mother's Jewish, my father's an Episcopalian. That was their
Gross.
their edit that out. My mother was, disowned for marrying my father. So there's a lot of like baggage around sort of the way in which having been raised with religion was something to shed, a sort of a
Also, it's not safe. Your mother fell in love and didn't convert, but had turned her back on her faith, and now you see what those constraints can do.
Yeah, and then it's really got nothing to do with spiritual principles or anything like that. It's just
tribal.
Right, exactly. And so there was a kind of a healthy amount of disdain, I would say, for that, or at least that's what I perceived.
Of course, what a trauma.
That's what I
feel
perceived.
sad for I had couples like that in our high school.
Yeah.
That the families didn't talk because one was Jewish and one was Protestant.
Yeah, and so that I perceived that, and I myself didn't really have an opinion other than that. Like as a kid, you're like, "Do you believe in God?" I'd be like, "No, I don't believe in God." That was my whole thing. It was like, I don't believe in God. But I didn't really ever think about it or anything. And then, you go through life believing that you are the center of the universe. And this is getting into sobriety stuff, where everything you do is something you did, and whatever you get from it is for you, and that you're not a part of anything bigger than yourself.
You're not interconnected.
You're just yourself, and it's you against the world, and
Which, by the way, is such a great way to suffer.
Yeah.
Is to deny the interconnectivity of all things.
Yeah.
And the way to stop suffering is to recognize that even if things aren't going your way or whatever, that you are you're interdependent.
Yes.
Things not going my way. My hurt heart might help me connect to you, and we both heal.
Yes.
That's joy, and it doesn't have to be tied to a religious system.
100%.
But isolation is a really good way to live and die.
And all these religions have
yourself.
lots of good things to say and lots of good ideas. So the spiritual bottom that I referenced earlier in this episode of your podcast was one of I'm sick of being the center of the universe. I'm sick of the burden of everything being about me.
This is a good definition of conversion, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't mean to put words in your mouth. I'm just saying.
Well, I think we talked about this at all time. We did.
Yeah.
Edit that out, all time.
Everyone knows I live near all time.
Okay, but edit
Come
that
say
out.
hi.
We don't want anyone going to all time.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't want to
edit that out, right?
Yeah,
all
that's
time.
right. Edit it out.
I'm just trying to do your bit. Look, I'm just trying to jump. I'm trying to jump on your bit, and you're like, "Oh no, he's doing it wrong."
No.
Doing the
For
bit
a
wrong.
second, I thought you were just like, people can't know.
No,
people know we're in those.
No, I was
fields.
jumping on the bit. Is ego deflation was the big thing for
That's
me,
right.
which is literally like humility, just being like admitting that I'm not the center of the universe, that I'm not as great as I think I am, that everybody's awesome, everybody's fallible, it's not all about me, blah 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 blah. It's that.
This is it.
That is the single most mind blowing concept to me.
Beautiful.
And I really do. God, whatever. This sort of the spiritual concepts around the sort of the greater purpose and the kind of meaning of life. Let's say that. Mm-hmm. What's the meaning of life? Mm-hmm. Is to live and be a good person. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean to be a good person? Well, you got to go figure that out. Mm-hmm. That's all. That was the big aha moment for me, and the whole sort of like, God is stupid, you're stupid. Da, da, da. I have no time for that. That's boring. I can't be that person. So I'm very cynical. I'm very jaded in all these different ways. But The Eyes of Tammy Faye is a very sincere story about someone who
the finale
believes deeply in the utopian concept that God is loves everybody, and that God is loving, and that we could love each other, and that love has healing power, and blah blah blah.
And also, symbols mean more to people than individuals. She seemed to understand her. I know you can tease her persona, But ask the gay community what it meant to have a Christian woman on Christian TV.
It was game-changing.
Speaking for them.
Yeah.
Richard Rohr, who's my homeboy, he's a Franciscan friar. And some people are like, why won't you leave the priesthood? You're so groovy, so outside the box. And I'm like, no, it matters to have someone who's in the system tell you in the same way that it matters that you're a comedian and you say, that was funny, that was funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were this is Carl Jung. We're transformed by symbols, not by ideas or people. It's like you want Batman, you want Tammy Faye, you want a priest or a monk in a robe. These things matter, and it's how our subconscious really
like Pima
something.
Chodron.
Pima Chodron.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
She's a monk.
I just wanted to say one of the things you said, Lama Surya Das, who did this podcast, he always says, rest your weary mind. And it's like, that's peace. Michael Showalter recognizing that he can't keep carrying it all and acting like he has it together. That breaking, that change is what I hear when Jesus is saying, lest a grain of wheat die and crack, it won't grow into a plant. So that was your sort of death and resurrection, if you'll allow that, if you're okay with that sort of.
Absolutely.
Because the young people that go, I got it, Pete matters, it's about Pete. When that dies, for me, it was my divorce has a lot of these different humiliations.
Well, there's
or
that
humblings.
fear. They talk about it in sobriety vocabulary. They talk about being the hole in the donut. Have you heard of this?
No.
The fear is I never really got it, but I sort of get it. I do get it now. The fear is if I let go of this idea that everything's about me, then I will be the hole in the donut.
That's beautiful.
What will I be tomorrow if I let go of the notion today that everything isn't about me?
That's why the
fear is I will be the hole in the donut. I will cease to exist. And there's something so terrifying about letting go of that idea that now I can't say for sure if I've succeeded at that, but I can say I can't even imagine the version of me that couldn't let go of that. And it took me a really long time.
That's it.
But when you let go of it, you go, oh, I'm still alive. I'm still walking around. I'm still a person. I'm still myself.
Well, when you do the thing
and I'm
you
safe.
thought you couldn't do, when you do the thing you thought you couldn't do and you do it, then you must not be what you thought you were.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So you were afraid if you let go of that illusion of control, that you would be the hole in the donut, and then you realize you're still here. So you must not be the thing that thought it couldn't do that.
And when you have the I'm still here moment, that's the biggest thing. That's the huge moment is when you actually get to the other side of the thing that you didn't think you could get to the other side of.
Yes.
And you get to the other side of it and you're like, oh shit. Now I'm really starting to see things in a different way.
That's right. That's conversion.
And it's beautiful.
I don't mean religious conversion. I mean you've been converted.
100%. Oh yeah. In no uncertain terms. I have been.
I love it. And I feel it. And I see it.
Yeah.
I just love it so much.
Yeah.
If you're not who you thought you were, who are you? And that's what we're here to figure out. And it's not Michael. It's not Michael from Princeton, New Jersey, who did this and this and this.
No.
It's who you are in this moment. It's how you interpret reality in this eternal present. This is who you are. And it's what's looking out your eyes so much more than it is your likes and your dislikes and what you've done and your accomplishments and whether or not you were at the bar when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Were you?
I wasn't at the bar. I was in my seat.
You saw it.
I saw it.
Can I ask you, was it, I didn't even intend, that was just a comedy bit.
Yeah.
It was really traumatic
Horrible.
for me. Yeah, it was
Horrible.
Yeah, it wasn't
Horrible.
Like everyone was doing bits like that
It was
night, and I was
horrible.
like, "Oh no, I hate this."
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, right. For me too, and I only saw it after the
It was
fact.
horrible.
Couldn't sleep that night.
Then Jessica Chastain won Best Actress, and it was like then I was really happy because you didn't want to let that moment. People say, why was everybody having fun and partying? It's because everyone in that room had worked for 3 years or more on whatever movie they were there representing,
Right.
and didn't want to let that moment ruin their night.
Yeah.
We worked for years on The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and I wasn't gonna wallow in it. But most people didn't realize that he had actually slapped him. I thought it was a bit. Where I was, what was traumatic was the second part where he was screaming at him.
Yeah.
And that's where everyone sunk in like, oh, this isn't a bit.
Yeah.
And that's where it got really, really weird. But I still didn't even realize he had actually slapped him until later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then I found there was a second level of trauma, which was then acting like it didn't happen.
Yes.
I really would.
Well, you don't know what to do. You just don't know what to do.
I can sympathize with that, but there also, like in any familial trauma, the thing that makes it hurt the most is when the family pretends like
it
nothing
didn't
happened.
happen.
Yeah. And that's what I felt we were
Yeah,
doing as a nation.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really brought that up
I
as
know
a
you
bit.
did. No, but I just needed to set the record straight.
Yeah.
I was in my chair.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the bar.
You were not at the bar.
I did spend some time down there, but at the bar area, or sort of like big lobby area.
Yeah. I have to imagine
have
a lot of
snacks.
people ran to the bar.
There were
During the weirdness.
Well, the show just goes on forever. You have to get up and
Yeah.
get some snacks.
Yeah, I love it.
So.
Well, I loved your God answer. I didn't mean to tarnish it with
Not in the least.
clickbait.
Not in the least.
We're not going to make clickbait. I'm just saying, like, that's not the
Clickbait.
show. What a beautiful thing. And it really, just to practice what we're talking about, it's like, in this moment, it's just nice to see someone so spacious and here. And I'm happy for you.
Thanks, Pete. You too. This has been really fun.
I've loved it. I was nervous you weren't going to do it because I still think of you as East Village Mike that won't do a dumb podcast. But I'm so
Village
glad you did.
Mike.
East Village Mike. Can I ask you one more?
Please.
Can you think of a time in your life when you laughed really, really hard? To take the pressure out of it, it doesn't have to be a good story. Just who are you with? How old are you?
My God.
Maybe you were a kid. These are the prompts. Maybe someone fell.
You're bringing me to.
A fall?
No, you're bringing me quickly to. You said East Village Mike, and so I was thinking about invite them up, and that was Eugene's show, and we went, me and Eugene and Leo, toured once. Leo Allen toured once as we were called. It was some ridiculous name that Eugene made up that of course I'm going to forget, but it was like the Comedy Men from Outer Space or something like that. He came up with some funny name for our tour, and it was like the Comedy Men from Outer Space. And we got hooked on a song by, I'm going to forget his name. He's a country singer, but it was all about the Taliban. It was a song about the Taliban. And it was all about how we're going to kick the Taliban in the butt and stuff like that.
I think I remember that.
It was some Toby
Keith?
Toby Keith.
Okay.
Toby Keith. And the three of us passionately singing that song in the car along with the lyrics. And just thinking, just finding that
road weary
that scene. Yes. The three of us singing the lyrics to Toby Keith's Taliban song at the top of our lungs and just dying laughing because we knew how silly it was. You said East Village Mike. That's what jumped.
You did it.
That's what jumped to mind.
First of all, one of the hardest things to direct is, to me, recreate is in a car because usually hot and it's a rig and it's just not natural. And those moments, so they're really unique. They're like little unicorns. And when me and Chris Thayer would travel around, we were singing the Listerine song. Do you remember? It was a bottle of Listerine swinging on a vine, and it would go, oh, 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 oh. That was the song. And we must have been stressed out of our fucking minds because we were screaming it like. Like even louder than that in a little rental car driving through Texas or wherever we were. And we afterwards, we talked about it. We were like, that was primal scream therapy. Like we felt clear as a bell. And we were screaming.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
You really brought me to that. It's an incredible memory.
Oh my God, yeah, that's what that is. Primal scream therapy. Soft car singing is primal scream therapy, I think. Yeah.
And Valerie told me that like your vagus nerve is actually, which regulates stress and stuff, is activated when you sing. So like singing, we're supposed to sing. It's it like helps us. And man, and then he would sing Bob Seger. He'd go, she was a little bit older and a lot less older than she used to be. And we have video of me, and I'm filming it, and I'm dying laughter. Rock and roll, Liverpool girls. And I'm like, just doing it now felt good. It felt so good. So what
Bob
a gift.
Seger's the best.
Yeah. Every time he comes on,
God,
my
he's
dad
good.
goes, his father was a poet, you know. And I'm such a little boy that wants him to see me. And I go, your son's a comedian. Like, I just
You really
always
say
want to make it
you
about
don't say
me.
that.
No. But he loves Bob Seger and but I'm always like, look at me, daddy. It's actually quite sad.
Oh, that is sad.
What a sad moment.
Yeah.
He sees me. I'm just
sees
so
you.
needy. Like I'll never get enough
Yeah,
attention from my
interesting.
parents. So I'm always like, but I'm special too, right? Mikey.
Well, at least you know that. That's the main thing.
That's it. I
That's
can
the
go
main
through
thing.
all
Yeah,
the rooms.
yeah.
That's the generator thing.
I love it.
Buddy, thank
Awesome.
you.
All right.
Congrats on Eyes of Tammy
Thanks,
Faye.
man.
Anything else you want to plug?
I love that for you. The new Vanessa Bayer show. It's on Showtime.
Love that title.
I love that for you.
And I love
Vanessa
that for
Bayer,
you.
Molly Shannon, Jennifer Lewis,
Vanessa Bayer.
Matt Rogers.
Who famously, only to me, has ducked this podcast 2 or 3 times.
Interesting.
And I feel like
You
we
gotta
could
get
play
her on.
siblings.
You gotta get her
I
on.
feel this weird
You
kinship
got to
to
get her
her.
on. She's so funny. She's so funny in the
No,
show.
she's just busy.
Jesse
She's-
Klein is the showrunner.
Oh, wow. Changed my
I'm
life.
an executive producer on the show, and
That's high level.
And I directed a few episodes, and I'm very excited about it.
Very good.
So
Edit
edit that
all
out.
of
Edit
it.
that out. Edit that out. Edit that out. I took away your bit because what you were about to do was about to be funny.
Yes.
Because you were going to go very good. Edit all of that out.
But you did it. But
I
don't you
know,
see how that was redemptive?
'cause I love
it was
the bit so
redemptive
much. The bit
because
is
you
so
did
funny.
it. The last time you did it, I thought you were serious or something. It was
It's
wrong.
a contagious bit.
It's a contagious
It's a bit that makes me want to do the bit. Michael Black used to do this thing. You should have asked him this. Darn, maybe you could call up and do a follow-up thing where you'd be in an elevator. This is funny. Okay? This is funny. He would touch them on their clothes, but they wouldn't know it. So he would touch them in a place where they wouldn't feel it. So you don't feel that, right?
It's like a magic trick. And
So,
you don't feel that, right?
you'd be in the elevator, and the person in front of you would have a bag on or something, and he would touch the bag, or have a coat, and there'd be like a little wrinkle in the coat, and he would just touch the wrinkle.
Need.
And I had to start doing that bit.
Of course.
So it's the kind of bit.
the highest compliment
It was
for
the
a
kind
bit.
of bit that I just like. You just be like, that bit looks so fun to do, and so it would be a race to see who could touch the thing. And so it's like, you've got some like big strong guy in front of you, and he's wearing like a hoodie, and you just touched the hoodie.
Until the reflective doors of the
Which
elevator.
has
He's like,
happened.
did you touch mine?
And that's happened. Too.
It has?
It's happened where you get caught. Yeah.
To you?
It happened to me once. I touched the rim of a guy's cowboy hat.
And did he say,
He was just like, it was scary. Like, what are you doing? And I just was like, acted like nothing happened. But it was this guy in a cowboy hat, and I touched
that's
the rim
one of
of
my
the cowboy
favorite
hat.
frequencies that human mammals can do, which is the agreed upon, let's just act like it didn't happen. Like it's a thing we do. We'll just choose, select all, delete, open Apple A, delete. That's a 90-minute callback, and I'm proud of it.
Open Apple D.
D.
Open Apple D,
Would that
right?
delete it?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure Open Apple D. It depends on what program you're in. But
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We'll look into it.
Mike,
All
thank
right.
you. We had the guests say keep it crispy.
Okay, keep it crispy.
You didn't even need it.
Keep it crispy. Keep it crispy. Keep it crispy.
Thank you.
You made it weird. You made it weird.